So we're here with Mr. Sam Tamayo, the XAS Director and CEO. And we're here to ask him questions to know more about what you do and why you do it.
Alright.
So let's start. What exactly, can you briefly tell us what do you do and why do you do it?
I am involved in motorsports, in particular two wheels, and there are many genres of two-wheel motorsports. But for me, it's the off-road. As they say it, adventure starts after paved roads. So that's I use that as a platform because that has been my passion. I'm a former professional racer, and in particular motocross race. I travel all over the Philippines and representing brands like oil company and manufacturer Shell, Yamaha. Then we race for this national series back in the days. So acquiring all the knowledge and experiences, and this is my passion. So I still do it now, except that right now I organize races, I coach newbies, and I use it as a platform basically to not just coach those who are into off-road, but to promote safety, the science, of safety for motorcycle riders who are doing it in the streets, going to work. Because Filipinos, sometimes we need to be educated. And because they look up to us as professional racers back in the days. And until now, I have this, facility, I use it as a platform to encourage them why they need to wear helmet, why they need to acquire precious skills so they'll be safe. They can come home at the end of the day safe to their families.
You can do it. Okay, so you mentioned about this facility. Can you tell us what's the name of the facility and what exactly happens in this facility?
Alright, the place is MMF, but it's Motocross Messiah Fairgrounds. Started 7 years ago, almost 7 years ago. And in this place, we built it from scratch. It's like a swampland.
Wow.
Before, and then started, I felt God calling us to serve Him through this manner. So we tried to connect with former sponsors and used our influence and to build a permanent facility where we can train riders, where we can conduct organized races.
Oh, wow.
So, and it has been fun, and God has been so good to us. We're turning 7 in a few months.
Wow. So you mentioned that your focus before was for the riders, for the Filipino riders, and then you coach them, and you also organize these races. So can you tell us how from being a professional motocross rider, that you then organized races for motocross? How did it?
Okay, it's actually after professional racing I retired. So I did went to did my masters, and I did business, and I got married, and I got kids. But for some reason, our town mayor called me because he said, hey, he's a big fan of the sport, motorsports. And then he said, hey, can you help me out? I want to organize a national invitational motocross race for our town fiesta. And the rest was history. I want to serve my town. I want to serve my town's people. I want to serve the community. But I have to start with one person, and the one person is the mayor, and he's influential. 400,000 population here, and so that was the beginning.
So it happened like by coincidence or by chance, or
That's right. That's
so
right.
you-
Phone call.
phone call.
Yeah.
So afterwards, how was the impact? Can you tell us, or can you briefly go with the trip to the memory lane? How was it starting this race from a phone call, and then what it has become up until now?
All right. I quit riding in 2005, and then I received that phone call 6 years later, and then did the race like February 2012. So being detached from the sport for a few years, you didn't know what's going on. You met new riders. Yeah, you met other peers and teammates. Some are still active, some are now managers, some are now working in those respective, team managers. And then, so after that event, it was quite successful. It was, and then all these riders, teams, sponsors said, you guys need to keep on doing this.
Wow.
And that demand somehow, I think God ordained us to help out the sport and grow the sport.
So it seems that you're very passionate about what you do. So besides motocross, what are the things that gets you excited, or what are the passions that is involved in the life of Mr. Santamayo?
You know, I'm really actually passionate about people. I'm passionate about meeting new people, and I just use this as a platform. So by whatever means, so I'm good at writing, and because of this rapport, people are naturally drawn to me. Those who are into riding are drawn to me naturally. So that's what I do. So I'm passionate about people, and if they're interested in me about riding, so I teach them. So I coach them, and I have fun. I enjoy spending time with people, yeah, learning about their life, and hopefully becoming a positive influence to them. And aside from motocross, I'm also interested in music.
Oh.
So when you come to our events, there'll always be a band set up, and then a famous OPM artists come and play in between motocross races and after party.
So not just motocross, so it's like a total entertainment event.
That's right. So it's I'm passionate about extreme sports, particular motocross and rock music.
So can you get us a glimpse? Let's say, for example, one spectator had come into one of your races or one of your organized race. What do they expect to see or to experience?
Well, they're gonna experience adrenaline rush. You know, just by watching the riders, and you know, they have some sort of an experience in riding a bicycle, or they know how hard it is. Because it's more of like, it's a sport, but it looks like it's a stunt show as well. So when you're watching that, imagine that, combine that, and there's this sense of how we present it to the people, and we encourage them to, you know, when you go to the paddock area, they can ride bikes, they can test units. So it's the overall experience actually. So spectators are hooked, spectators are encouraged to try it out, and that's why we also have a school. We organize basic off-road riding lessons as well.
Oh.
Actually, the demand is so great that it's up to us to just limit it because
there's
yeah,
just too many people wanting
to try
and learn.
That's right.
So what do you call this basic training? Do you have like a name for the program?
we call it MMF Academy. So that's the school for riders from basic, coming without any experience,
zero knowledge
in riding. We teach them, and up to advanced and intermediate riders.
So how young and how old do you have riders?
You know, my kids started at 5, but then at 5 for Filipinos or Asians, they still struggle to, you know, press the brakes because the brake levers and
Your hands are too
so
small.
Yep. But we can start at as young as 4 and 5, depends upon the kid, you know. But a good start would be, I think, 5 for Filipinos. But if the kid is big and you know, tall, strong, as young as 3.
3. So
Yeah.
You have
We have
students.
small bikes for that.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And how old is there an age limit in
No,
learning?
actually I have a businessman, he's 55, and he came here, he said he divides his life into 5 years, and he said, this is one of my bucket lists. So, at 55, and now he's hooked.
Wow.
So I think he's 56 now, and I always see him in Facebook, Instagram, traveling the world with his motorcycle. even in Europe, even in the States.
It's really cool. So you mentioned as well that you have kids that
Yeah.
is already into motocross. Can you tell us about your family and how are they supporting you in this kind of endeavor?
This sport is the uniqueness of this sport is the values, the family, because you can't do this by yourself. You basically need to ask permission from your parents, and it is an extreme sport, so you're gonna be basically learning about how to become. You have to respect it. It's not as
It's not that
easy sport. So humility, but at the same time, as you systematically learn some new skills, you get confidence.
Definitely.
And not just that, the relationship is being built because it's a process. It's a process of commitment that involves the whole family. So I said, I did it as a professional racer. I said, I don't want them to do well if they wanted to, but I just want to spend time with them.
Oh, man.
Instead of other kids being passionate about tablets, games in the internet or whatever, and they receive some sort of pleasure or adrenaline rush in those things. Why not do an extreme sport and a motorsport? So it's risky, but you can lessen the risk by practice. And so I know that fact, so I get to intentionally spend time with them. Right? Because as much as we can, we're going to do this every day so that they're going to be safe. So, and as a father, and I'm a busy person, knowing that fact, it makes me make time for them. And I love that because life is short. You have to spend precious time. Be intentional in relationship. So, especially with your kids, family.
Kids and family. Well, that's nice because since I know that you're a busy person and organizing this race and running this place, you actually had to integrate. So it's not like just work and then life. So you integrate your family alongside the work. That's nice. And can you tell us more about, you mentioned that it's somehow a God ordained thing or your faith. How does your faith come into play in organizing or being a professional rider?
I actually became really, really open, seeking God after 18 years ago. Back in '99, I almost died. I have a near-death experience, and right after that, I said, "Wow, this life is short, and this life is meant to glorify God, and to serve Him. And to serve Him is to serve people." So this is the particular arena where I gained a lot of experience and skills and talent. So this is where I can serve people. So it's kind of a niche market, but the population is growing.
Nice.
That's why I train a lot of coaches now. And it's really good to have that mindset of, you're passionate about people. The first early students whom I love these guys, fell in love into, and I train them well, are now my coaches. Imagine if I did not train, if I were not passionate about training them or people, then I would be doing all these things, and I won't have time for my family or kids. So I praise God about that.
So it seems to me that your passion has been serving people.
Yes.
And it's through this, what you call learning and also teaching other people to serve other people.
Yes.
Is
Whatever in their hands or whatever expertise they have, be a blessing to others.
so you have this in your website. You have this tagline or also
Yeah,
your shirt.
it's passion and purpose.
Can you tell us more about how does it look like?
All right.
Motocross?
My passion is riding two wheels, dirt bikes. But other people out there, they're passionate about computer, passionate about numbers, passionate about, whatever profession, a lawyer or a doctor. And for me, you have to have a purpose why you're passionate about those things. Because having passion is, it's limited. You're gonna reach burnout. You're gonna be used by people. You're gonna encourage discouragement. And then you have to have purpose. When you have purpose, you have an extra mile. When you have purpose, You do it for higher accountability, higher purpose, and you're doing it for God. And it keeps you grounded
Yes, ma'am.
and keeps you going. So that's what it's all about, passion and purpose. So we promote this. We use the hashtag passion and purpose. So we tell people, you know, it's okay to be passionate about things, about work, about skills, or about sports or whatever. But make sure that make Jesus or God the purpose of your passion. How? You serve Him. When you say you serve Him, you serve other people through your passion.
I wish we had more time, Sir Sam Tamayo, to discuss all about their thing. But can you tell us one last thing that you'd like people to know about, or can invite them perhaps before we go?
Well, thank you for interviewing me. I hope we can bless others through this. You know, God has a purpose for our lives. Everything that happened in the past, God allowed it to happen, whether good or bad. And if we would just believe that He has a plan and He has a purpose, we can be a blessing. We can change the course of history. And for me, this platform, motorsports, extreme sports, it's a blessing. It's becoming a blessing to others. Whatever it is that you're passionate about, bring God as purpose. And you're gonna have a grand time, you know, excited to wake up every day, excited about the future. There will be trials and problems, but you know, you see those things as you know, iron sharpens iron. You see those things as test of faith, and after overcoming it by God's grace, you're a better person after that.
Well, your story has been very inspirational. Thank you again, Sir Sam Tamayo. I'm JORELL QUIBEN from University of the Philippines Open University, and thank you for watching. God bless.
God bless.